Battle Chess was originally released on the Commodore Amiga in 1988. 1 year later, numerous other platforms got a version of it, including the NES, which is the version we're going to be looking at today. Battle Chess is, well, it's chess, but it's not just a simple incarnation of the famous board game. The pieces are personified and will walk to the desired square you choose. Each piece has its own animation, speed, and sound effects as it travels across the board. Sometimes they move a little too slow. The queen, king, and knight in particular are guilty of being on the slow side. But the king can only move one square per move, so that's forgivable. But the queen can go as many spaces as she wants, so waiting on her can be time-consuming. Come on, move faster, you bitch! The knight is even slower, and when it jumps other pieces, they move out of the way for him, which is amusing, but waiting 15 seconds for one move to play out can test your patience. Chess is a game of patience anyway, but this will drag the game on a little longer than it should. When you take one of your opponent's pieces, you'll get to see a battle sequence where the two pieces duke it out, and obviously the piece that is taken is the one that falls. And you won't get the same old battle every time. For every combination of pieces there's a different sequence. For example, every time a pawn takes another pawn, you'll see the same battle, but it'll be much different when the pawn takes a knight. There are 35 different sequences altogether, and you can watch all of them on the montage video I made. So button A selects the piece you want to move and the location to move it to, and B cancels your selection if you haven't moved already. Holding B will also show you all the possible moves for the highlighted piece. Pressing select will bring up a menu where you can tinker around with some options. It's in drop-down fashion, so you can tell this isn't much different from the computer version. Under Move, you can manipulate the game to your choosing. New Game obviously starts the game over. Setup Board lets you put any piece in any place of the board you want. You can even have a shitload of queens and just massacre your opponent. The only restrictions here are that you can't exceed 16 pieces on each side. You have a maximum of 8 for one particular piece. Each side must have a king. The pawns can't be in the front or back row, and you can't set up a king in check. Take Back will let you take back your last move. Replay shows an instant replay of the last battle sequence, and Suggest Move will offer a suggestion of where your next move should be. Settings let you toggle who's human and computer, and also gives you the option to play the traditional two-dimensional pieces. The game goes by faster here, but what's the point? Might as well just drag out the actual chessboard. Then you can select between 6 difficulty levels when facing the computer. I think they should have adjusted this a little. I'm no master chessman or anything, but I like to think that I'm alright. I've played several of the digital chessboards and was able to become pretty evenly matched with some of the later levels. But in Battle Chess, even the novice level is frustrating. You'd think that the easiest level would be pretty easy and a good option for beginners and kids, but it's a pain in the ass. It doesn't fall for any of your tricks and always seems to be one step ahead of you. Despite the depth in the options department, one thing you can't do is alter the rules. Some play under different rules, kind of like how some people use the free parking space in Monopoly to award the player with all the saved up tax money, and some people don't use that rule. In Battle Chess, you can castle your king and use pawns to take other pawns horizontally. Some people don't use those rules, but you have to when playing this game. The graphics aren't anything special, but that's pretty unimportant in this game. As long as you can recognize the pieces and enjoy the battle scenes, you should be satisfied with how everything looks, despite the choppiness in the battles. One thing that's kinda odd is how the pieces are red and blue instead of black and white like a traditional chessboard, even when you use the 2D pieces. But I guess for the sake of this game, they look better colorful. It's also hilarious how the rook starts off as a castle and morphs into a brick monster of sorts, then turns back into a castle after landing on its space. The sound could have been improved a bit. The opening theme is cool, but some of the sound effects are distorted and a bit muddy. Overall, the game is definitely fun. The only thing is, because the pieces take a bit of time to move and the battles keep happening, you're extending the length of time to a game that's already pretty long to begin with. If you don't have the patience or attention span for a steady-paced game like this, then you won't be a big fan of Battle Chess. But if you enjoy playing chess and enjoy playing Nintendo, then this game is highly recommended. It doesn't offer a gargantuan amount of features, but for a chess game on Nintendo, you can't really ask for much more. So that pretty much wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.